This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio, and Matt has left me all alone. He kicked me to the curb today, so he's on vacation, I think. At least that's what he tells me. I'm Dave Riccio. This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, heard here every Saturday from 11 to noon, right here, News Talk 923 KTAR. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we are helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. If you've got car questions, we've got answers. So we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. For those of you shy types, we'll let you send us a text at 411-923. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, we've got a little bit of fact or fiction. We are taking your texts and phone calls. And 3 costly mistakes you don't want to make with your automobile. And I could answer this all myself, but I brought in Frank Leutz from Desert Car Care, which is at Chandler and Dobson. Correct, Frank?
Happy day, Chandler and Dobson. It's a beautiful day. Chandler, Dobson, pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dave.
What are the first 3 things that come to your mind? Actually, I'm going to tell you what they are. How about that?
You tell me, Dave. I want to listen to this, Dave.
There's about 20 costly mistakes that you can make, but we've only got a limited amount of time. So I'm just going to pick 3 that I regularly think of for people that, they just drive around, and they got the little noise going on, and it's just getting more expensive by the day. So I think of brakes. Brakes is something that if you wait on is definitely going to add $300 to $500 to the bill, would you say?
I definitely would say that. And I would add, listen, it's not your local field mice that's wedged in between that hubcap and your rim, man. You got a squeak. It is a problemo.
It is a problem. Now, brakes will make a regular little squeak and peep here and now and then.
Yeah.
But when you hit the squealers on your brake pads, what you're going to hear is that and then when you hit the brakes, it actually goes away in a lot of cases.
That's right. And the key of E flat, in most occasions, it's a problem.
So that would be, it's not the most costly mistake you can make by any means, but it's going to cost you, $300 to $500 extra that you don't want to spend because nobody likes to spend money on their car. But if we get to one that's a little bit more expensive, and it's not a little bit more expensive, it's a lot more expensive. That's going to be the timing belt. That's going to be the catastrophic failure that's going to cost you a bunch of money, and that's something you don't want to get into.
Dave, you know what I equate that to? Listen, I ate a spaghetti dinner the night before, and then I go into the emergency room the following day, and I say, listen, I got a little chest pain. Doc says, no, it's the meatball you ate. The next day I have a coronary. That timing belt is the same deal.
Can't put it off. Cannot put it off.
Yeah.
And, timing belts, believe it or not, manufacturers are going away from timing belts in some of the vehicles. My Honda, that was a timing belt car. Everybody knew Hondas had timing belts. This one has a timing chain.
Huge
that
plus
presents a whole
consumer.
different set of problems, though, because you got to make sure you're up on your oil changes.
That's right.
Because you don't want to be buying timing chains because they're not as cheap. And
That
timing
oil
belts
sludge,
aren't chipped.
No bueno for the oil sludge, for sure.
No sludge. That's a bad deal. So I would say that's one of your expensive ones is the timing belt, because what we want to avoid is catastrophic failures, okay? And then the next one that is somebody that I'm going to have to sit down and console with because it's been a really bad day and the car shows up on the tow truck. And I got nothing but just bad news. Can it get any worse? No, it really can't, is the cooling system. You got a coolant leak on your car, you see a little green puddle. Well, it's not green anymore. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's blue. But you've got a leak on your car, and you can actually smell it if you have a keen sense of smell, which I can, but you may not know what you're smelling, but it is kind of a sweet smell. Your car shouldn't smell like that. That's not good.
Absolutely. And I don't get, Dave, why, in society we're really keen to everything. We walk into a restaurant, we can smell bad fish. If we're driving our vehicle, you can smell something. You may not know exactly that it's antifreeze, but if you smell something or hear something or see something, get it in.
Well, here's the deal, and I think this is the hassle of taking your car to the shop. I mean, that's something, we are busy. So we work hard Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, and we have some free time. We got to make it up to our kids. We got to play catch up, So we're spending time with our kids and making up for all the work we did. We don't have time to get our car to the shop. Well, I tell you what, for what it's going to cost you not to deal with that coolant leak, believe me, you can get a rental car for $25 a day. So the reality is it's always cheaper to get a rental car and get the car to the shop, even if there's nothing wrong with it. So what are you out? You're out $25. But I'm telling you, you're not out $2,000. And that's the conversation we got to have people when they ignored a radiator leak, or they ignored a water pump leak, or they just ignored a leak. Maybe they didn't even know they had it because they don't take their car in for regular maintenance.
And that's a fact. Dave, a lot of in fact, most of our bumper-to-bumper radio shops do have that rental option, and people don't realize that's a common sense approach because we're all consumers. We're jammed for time. We can't get it in. That rental car, boy, that's like a cherry sweet spot for everybody. Mechanics got time to, really
I tell you
look
what,
at it. It's great.
It totally lowers the anxiety of the whole process because people are like, man, I got to have my car, man. I got to have my car to get to work.
Right. That's right.
I know you got to have your car. So do the other 60 people that are here with their cars.
That's
they got to have the cars too. But so to lower your anxiety, just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to have my car in the shop for a week, and it's going to cost me $25 a day.
That's right.
That's the cost of repair for your car. Some cars have loaner cars, or some shops have loaner cars, but it is figured in the price of repair, I'm sure, whether there's that's part of the deal. So I think that'll lower the anxiety in the auto repair. But the one thing that I think clicks away at the back of people's mind, they're going, $25 a day, $25 a day. But in all sincerity, that's cheap compared to some big repairs that you didn't want.
And the other thing too is most people, listen, let's face it, they throw up in their mouth when they got to think about going to a mechanic. Who wants to do that? So I tell you, I
don't know. Is that how they feel when they come to your shop?
Well, not at all, because we've got red carpet, I've got popcorn, I've got great smelling mechanics, and
right.
But no, seriously, as a consumer, if you haven't found a shop, right, and you're bouncing them around and you just haven't developed a relationship, what are you thinking about? Something's going on, but really you're saying, hey, I really don't want to go see those guys.
Well, yeah, so it's easy to procrastinate. It's something you just don't want to do. So really what we talked about were three things, brakes being one, and that's not going to cost you. The penalty for ignoring your brakes, it's not going to cost you big time. Your penalty for ignoring the timing belt is going to cost you big time. And your penalty for ignoring the coolant leak is going to cost you big time. But I think all of those can be summed up in just proper maintenance of the vehicle. You might be one of those consumers who's chasing the coupon. I'm going here because they got a coupon. Their oil change is $19. I'm going here. Oh, wait, this one's even better. This one's $16. I'm going over here, and I think I need a coolant service. So you're getting all these a la carte services at all these different shops. In the meantime, that is probably the biggest mistake you can make of all, because bad maintenance is worse than no maintenance at all.
Listen, cheeseburgers are great for drive-through quickness, but going to your mechanic for a 15-minute lube with a very minimal attention to that inspection, that flashlight inspection, that's disaster. Slow it down.
Slow it down. Get it
Slow it
checked out.
down.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a quick oil change every now and then.
That's
okay,
right.
When the car is newer, let's say this thing's got less than 50,000 miles on it, there ain't a whole lot that's going to be wrong or a whole lot's going to be broken. Okay, so you can just kind of lower your temperature right there on that. You can go get a quick lube. I guess if I use that term, but you can also get, some of these shops do a kind of a quicker, oil change where it's not such a hurry up job. But as a car starts to get up there in mileage, that's going to cost you more money when you don't see things hanging off the car. You ignore it. You got a misfire in your car. You ignore it. What happens is not only do you have a misfire you got to fix, but now you got a catalytic converter you got to fix because you've been throwing raw fuel down the exhaust. Mm-hmm. And that little yellow light, you don't want to leave that thing running. If it just keeps going out, maybe it's because it's on the border of burning out because you've ignored it for so long. So you got to take care of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, and speaking of yellow lights, Dave, please, we just need to let everybody know, if you got a dash light on, don't put your Queen of Hearts on the front of your dash, man. Save that card for the blackjack game. Get it in right away.
Don't ignore. Well, yellow lights aren't the most urgent.
That's right.
They're important. You got to take care of them. And red lights are like, pull over, get in there now. If you got a red light coming on, don't keep driving.
That's
so
right.
When we come back, we've got wide open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277 KTAR. Maybe you have a repair that your mechanic has told you. He says, oh, you're going to need a timing belt. And you're not really sure you do. And that's a question you want to ask us. We'll help you weigh it out. Is this something you should be budgeting for, something you need to do, or something you don't need to worry about? You can also text us at 411-923. You're listening to Dave without Matt and Frank Leutz at Bumper to Bumper Radio.
It's really coming down now, and that little voice is saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. You meant to call Kaiko Roofing last storm, but you didn't, did you? Now it's raining cats and dogs, and Mr. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is watching a puddle form on the ceiling. If the roof on your home or business is over 10 years old, get rid of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Call Kaiko Roofing at 602-944-4600 for a free checkup today. At Kaiko, we install peace of mind with the finest materials and the most skilled workers, all backed by the owner's pride guarantee. Flat, foam, tile, or shingle, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of valley roofs. Over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend. For more information and financing options, go to KaikoRoofing.com. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at TriCityTransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
You're listening to Bumper to Bumper on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio, and leaving me stranded is Matt Allen. He thought he had something more important to do other than be here helping you with your car. I mean, what are we going to do without Matt here? I'm very confident that if you have a car question, 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTR. You can also text us at 411-923. You can send us questions there. And the reality is I know more than Matt, but when he's here, I always default to him because I don't want to hurt his feelings. So he's probably listening on his phone right now. I'm going to get a really angry text here. But we brought in Frank Leutz with Desert Car Care, who is in Chandler, Dobson. What town are you technically in?
This is in the heart of Chandler.
Heart of Chandler.
We're out there in Chandler, Dobson, and been out. That location's been there for 10 years. In fact, we're celebrating 10 years. The end of this year.
Oh, that's
excited. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, the thing I like about Desert Car Care, they do so well. There's kind of a clientele out there in the East Valley, retirement with Sun Lakes. And, sometimes Frank will refer me a customer, but a lot of people from Sun Lakes, and they take very good care of those customers. They always come in bragging about Frank's shop. It's very hands-on. You're in there just about every day?
Absolutely. There's a lot of passion going on. I always equate what we do. It's almost like a tuba section synchronized with a nice ballet. We get it done. We're very efficient. We've got some good culture. A lot of stuff we're doing in the community. In fact, August 9th, Back to School for Teachers. This is our third annual. We give about 300 oil changes as a compliment to our teachers. So way to say thank you. So stop on by August 9th from 8 to 12.
My wife's a teacher. I'm going to send her down. I can change your oil, but you know what? You're doing it for free, so I'm sending it over there.
That's it.
Well, we got open lines at 602-277-5827. And up first this segment, we are going to go with Kate in Sun City. Sounds like she's got a Honda question. Go ahead, Kate. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. The problem is my daughter purchased a used Honda from a major dealer up in, I think it's probably North Chandler. And she's heading out of state to Houston, and all of a sudden she's got transmission problems. She purchased a $2,500 warranty.
What is the year of the Honda, and is it an Accord or an Odyssey or a Civic?
It's Civic, and I think it's a 2006.
Now, we think she's got transmission problems. Has somebody checked it out?
She went to the dealership. That's the problem. And she purchased when she bought it 3 years ago, she was purchased a 6-year warranty. That's what she thought. A 6-year warranty on the car. They're saying that the warranty goes back to the original owner, and so she's no longer under warranty. She contacted her bank, and the woman did research and said she had on her bank documents that she has a 12-year warranty on the car. But it's going to take her 7 to 9 days to get these documents here, and she's got to hit Texas for a new job. Is there anything that she can do? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know.
When you purchase a warranty, it goes back to the original owner?
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I know a lot of times on these warranties, these extended warranties, so you buy a car with 40,000 miles on it, let's just say. Let's say the car originally came with they may sell her a 7-year, she said it was a 2006, I believe.
With 3 years on it, right?
Well, yeah, it's already, and they sell her a 6-year, whatever the mileage is, well, it's off the original date. It's not necessarily from the time you bought the car. So, I think everyone can learn from this, Kate. That's a great question because sometimes these warranties are tricky. You go buy a car and it has a 3-year, 36,000 factory warranty, and then they sell you a 50,000-mile warranty. Well, that warranty is only covering you from 36 up to 50. So it's really not doing that much, but it's been overvalued for you, and you go, oh, yeah, $2,500 for a 50,000-mile warranty. That sounds reasonable. So that's a little trick. It's a little sleight of hand thing that happens when these people are in the high pressure of the finance office, and they're saying, got to have this warranty. And you know what? Those guys are good. Those finance guys, and she didn't name it. Not all. We can't paint them all with a broad stroke.
It's a big revenue opportunity for the dealerships. And without knocking, not every dealership, but I think the consumer needs to be really aware. You're going to negotiate price on your purchase, but you're also going to try to negotiate that back office and be cautious, Dave. Absolutely, with that extended warranty. I think in this case, if she approaches this in a soft manner and maybe gets the area manager of Honda in a particular area of town, wherever she's at, and approaches that with a common sense approach, she may have some leverage. But with extended warranty, I don't know about that. This
right. It depends on there's some good extended warranty companies. There's some fly-by-night extended warranty companies. Right. And if the dealership is at fault because they misrepresented the warranty, well, maybe you can go back there. But in the meantime, your question is, how do I get my daughter to Texas and fix her car? Unfortunately, if time's an issue, we may have to get the car fixed and then deal with it later and then, go back and, get a refund on the warranty or something like that. 'Cause she's still got to get to Texas. It's going to cost her a whole lot more if she's late on her first day of work.
That's right.
So I think that's the priority. But unfortunately, with extended warranties, I hear this more than good stories about extended warranties. I don't know if you find that to be true, Frank.
Absolutely. We just had a recent client that came in and asked about what to purchase and about these extended warranties. And they are not as good as they used to be. I think during the economic correction, those insurance companies had to reset themselves. So buyer beware.
Right.
Look at that fine line and get with your mechanic. Let them review that policy because they know what's coming in the shop.
And I think the pressure thing in the finance office, it happens pretty quick. You buy this warranty and you didn't really get a time. Who reads the fine print? Not with somebody looking over your shoulder, you don't read the fine print. So, Kate, it's going to be hard to dissect that here on air, but if you send us an email at bumpertobumperradio.com with some more details, I'll better try and help you answer that question. So thanks so much for the call, 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We're going to go with Frank in Peoria, not you, Frank, but a different Frank, on a Chevy HHR 2011. Go ahead, Frank. How can we help you today?
How you doing? Everything's fine here. For the last month, when I run the car, 55, 60, and then I have to slow down to maybe 30, 40, I get this kind of sulfury smell. I guess it's the catalytic converter. Is that something that I should be kind of worried about or have it looked at, or is it just kind of usual?
That's the rotten egg smell that you're referring to?
Yeah, that rotten egg smell.
Frank, is it too rich or too lean? What makes that thing smell like that?
Well, is the check engine light on that, Frank?
Nope.
Okay. Definitely there's an enrichment issue somewhere along the line. What's the mileage on that one, Frank?
30 plus.
Okay, so it is a baby mileage-wise. You definitely want to take it in. Typically that sulfur smell is related to fuel mix.
Right. So
okay.
I don't know that it's an impending problem, but it wouldn't hurt to have it checked out. Have it checked out.
Okay.
Someone's going to look at the fuel trims and see if that thing's overcompensating because maybe we got a vacuum leak or something else going on. But to really try and sit here and say, I know that smell. It seems like newer cars I smell that smell. So.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so nice anymore to be able to plug into cars. I was thinking the other day, and I was talking to Joel from Arizona Imports about how much this business has changed, and he and I were discussing if you took a technician out of an auto repair shop from 1975 and you time warped him right into 2014 and you said, hey, go adjust the parking brake on that Ford Explorer, he wouldn't know what to do. I mean, he would have no idea what to do. So the rules have changed, and stuff we used to think we knew or we got advice from people, and we always believed it because my grandfather always gave me advice about cars, and I always believed him. But what? His information anymore, it's no good. The farm type of repairs, they're not working out so good. So when we come back, we got open lines at 602-277-5827, and it sounds like Frank is going to bring the brass up.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave.
We're the car guys from the Bumper to Bumper radio show, heard right here on News Talk 92.3 KTAR every Saturday from 11 to noon.
Bumper to Bumper radio, it's just like your favorite warm and comfy blanket for all your automotive needs.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Dave. And we're here not just on Saturdays, but 24/7 at bumpertobumperradio.com for all the very best repair and service shops in Phoenix.
Yep, right advice, products, and partners are all at bumpertobumperradio.com.
After 14 years in the States, mostly spent here in the Valley, I was getting bloody frustrated with the treatment I was receiving from dealerships on the maintenance and repairs of my vehicles. I finally reached out to a friend who told me I was crazy not to try Virginia Auto Service. Being a mom with a busy schedule, children, and work, I took my friend's advice and gave Virginia a try. What a refreshing difference. From the first step through their doors, their staff was accommodating and understanding. Robert explained in plain English what I needed to have done, but also why. They went out of their way to make sure that the experience was convenient, with door-to-door shuttle service by a lovely man named Bergie. Several years and a number of visits later, the experience is always the same. They tell me what is necessary right now and what is not. This is Victoria, and I don't know much about cars, but I do know that from boot to bonnet, Virginia Auto Service knows how to take care of their customers. Check them out online at Virginia Auto Service.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at TriCityTransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
Hi. This is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Long name, right? But we have a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved. ADS is a family-owned and operated state-of-the-art repair facility that has an expert staff that for the second straight year has earned the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard. Find us at automotiveddiagnosticspecialties.com.
Hi, Lisa Henry with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. Have you been thinking maybe the time is right to move, but you're not sure if you have enough equity in your home or if it really is a good time? Well, home values have increased significantly over the past few years, and interest rates are still historically low. For how long? No one knows. But for every 1% increase in the interest rate, the result is about a 10% loss in purchasing power. So it might be a really great time to sell your home and either upsize or downsize to a new home while the interest rates are still low. Contact me via my website at lisareneehenry.com or direct at 480-330-9530 for a no-obligation market valuation on your home and to hear about our global online marketing plan designed to sell your home quickly for top dollar. Again, that's lisareneehenry.com, 480-330-9530. Come experience the difference a truly customer-focused real estate agent can make.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Matt has left me today, and I've got Frank Leutz from Desert Car Care in to help me help you with your car. And this guy is an interesting cat, if I can call you that. For an auto repair mechanic, he doesn't really fit. I mean, he can fix cars, and I get all that, but this guy, he came in today with a trombone. Is that what you got going on over there?
That's right. I think every good mechanic in one way or form wants to serenade their client, whether it be through music or whether through the great repairs that they do. So I brought my trombone in, and I just wanted to just serenade our
let's see what you let's see. I've heard you talk about it, but I've never heard it. Incredible. So head on down to Desert Car Care where they're bringing brass to auto repair. That's quite interesting. Frank, you could talk to him for hours. This guy's lived all over the world, done some military, speaks German, speaks some Lebanese because of his wife. Your wife, does she ever speak Lebanese around the house?
Listen, she speaks Lebanese, but more importantly, if it wasn't for my wife, I'd still be playing trombone on the corner.
Well, thanks, Frank. It's nice to know it's just not another boring auto mechanic.
Yeah, there we go.
So we got quite a few texts here, and I want to address this first one. Gentleman has sounds like an 06 Volkswagen Beetle. He's got a couple things going on. He's got control arms that need to be replaced, control arm bushings, and that's somewhat of a regular repair on these cars anymore. And then the other thing he's got is a P0171 code, which is a lien code, and he's kind of saying, hey, I haven't really found anybody who wants to work on this car, and I don't want to go to the dealer because I think the dealer's too expensive. But there's all kinds of independent shops that do specifically work on Volkswagen. I know Matt's shop, Volkswagen is quite a big part of his mix at Virginia Auto Service. I know also in Tempe, Arizona Imports, a lot of Volkswagen there. You do Volkswagen at your shop, Frank.
We do. We get our fair share of Volkswagens, and unfortunately, that 06 Volkswagen Beetle, that's a common problem with those bushings.
With the bushings going
Absolutely.
bad. And now what about the lien code? He's wondering, what's going on there? Why would he have a lien code?
Yeah, lien codes, we're going back to that air-fuel mixture, which is vital, right, to how that engine's going to run. So if we have that particular fault, that's usually a lien condition. Bottom line is we need to do an X-ray. It's tough to guess.
Right.
Pinpoint test is the key.
So you're going to need a good diagnostician and not necessarily a part swapper. You can go to part swappers, and they're great because they don't charge you for the diagnostic, but you buy 10 extra parts that you didn't need. So a good paid diagnostic is always the way to go. So we also have, let me scroll down through these emails here. Gentleman's got a 97 Toyota Tacoma. He thinks he's got a bad wheel bearing, and he said he's done the banking test. And then he says, how should I find out which wheel bearing is bad? I think you nailed it on the head. If I jump in a car and I'm listening for a bad wheel bearing, I'm going to bank right slightly. I'm not going to make a right-hand turn. I could do that at 45 miles an hour, just bank. And if I load up, now I'm loading up the bearings on the right side of the car. So does the noise get better or worse? Because I loaded up the right side bearings. Well, if it gets noisier, well, I know it's a bearing on the right side. And if it gets quieter, well, I know it's maybe a bearing on the left side. So for anyone out there listening, that is always something you can do. So we are going to go to the phones. We're going to go with Sharon in Phoenix on a 2001 Ford Sport Track. Go ahead, Sharon. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. I got a little situation with my vehicle. I'm pretty good about
maintenance on it, tires, rotation, all that good stuff. But the other day I noticed that my gas gauge is not moving. What am I looking at as repairs and cost on that?
For a not moving gas gauge, well, I'd hate to throw out any wild figures because I don't know what's wrong with it. You know, it would just be a wild guess. You can fill in the A. But Frank, you're thinking gas repair. What are the most common things that you see? And this is kind of a broad brush.
That's right. I mean, we certainly, it's difficult over the phone here. But Sharon, I'll tell you, just like the float in your toilet, right? The little plunger in your toilet, there is a float in the gas tank. And that float goes up or down, and it relays that information to the fuel gauge. It's possible that that's what you may be dealing with. Of course, it has to be tested.
Well, in any of these repairs, and that's something that happens, and people want to know, diagnostic, do I pay for diagnostic? People want to diagnose a car before they tell you how much it's going to cost, because the reality of this is we can say, yeah, maybe it's the sending unit, and that's what Frank's referring to in the tank, and that's the float lever, and it's got a little like rheostat thing on there, and the higher the float goes, you know, it affects the gauge. But really, there's a float there. There's also a wire that goes all the way up to the computer. Up to that computer, then that wire goes over to the sending unit. So all those things could affect it, and the gauge itself in the dashboard, or what we call the cluster, could be the issue. So thanks so much for the call, Sharon. 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We are going to go with Dan in Mesa on a 1997 Ford Crown Victoria. Go ahead, Dan. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I have 102,000 miles on this vehicle, and I'm pretty good at the maintenance, but I haven't addressed, I don't know if it has a timing chain or a belt. I'm assuming it has a chain. How soon do I need to replace that? And is that something that a novice mechanic can do? I'm pretty good, but I'm not certified, if you will. Is that something that I should attempt? And if so, what kind of tools do I need and all of that?
What kind of tools? And timing chain on it's probably is that a 4.6 liter, or that's a 97.5 liter, or 4.6?
It's a 4.6.
I don't know, Frank. Would you want to do that in your driveway?
You know, that's a process. You know, and certainly, Dan, respecting any skill level that you may have, if you attempt to do that, it's pretty entailed, a bit more open heart like in this procedure. So. You want to ensure that you take it step by step. But really, let's evaluate it. You know, if you want peace of mind, take it in, get it evaluated. You may not even need a timing chain.
Well, if he was doing a timing chain on this, and people say, hey, I want to take these projects on, and that's okay. If you feel mechanical and you want to take it on, no problem. But if you got to drive it to work on Monday, don't do it. You know, you want a couple days to make sure you can get it right. And you know, if you don't want to go wrong. So do as much research as you can. You find pictures on the internet. You find factory manual type stuff. And that's a big do-it-yourselfer project. You know, I see people do brakes and air filters and stuff like that. You know, it's a lot more simplistic, but that's kind of a major engine repair. In timing chains, and I brought it up earlier, you know, we used to have belts. Oh, we still have belts, but we're going back to chains. But we're seeing more and more timing chain problems, and I think it's because we're spreading out the oil change intervals, and that's just a recommendation the manufacturer has really lost it for me on. Now, you know, they tell you, hey, you can change oil every 5,000 or every 10,000 miles. Well, to the consumer, that means they can add 50%. Oh, every 10, okay, I guess it can be every 15. You can't do that. I would say you actually got to cut some of those in half. What are your feelings on that, Frank?
Oil sludging, especially in our severe duty climate here. You know, we've got to be very cautious about what everyone from the salesman that sold you the vehicle to what maybe your neighbor said, how often he's getting his oil change done. What I say is you got to get it into the shop at least twice a year, get that oil service done, and also flashlight inspect the vehicle. Listen, oil changing is not difficult science, but the inspection behind it. So if we're not seeing our mechanic but once every, 12 to 15,000 miles, that's a recipe for disaster.
Well, thanks for the call, Dan. 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And we've got a text. This gentleman has an 06 Cadillac CTS, and it's not running that good. It seems to hesitate. So he took it in the auto shop, and the mechanic told him that he has a misfire, and he wants to know how much it's going to cost to get his misfire fixed. And that's probably about as vague as we can be. Components for misfires, a lot of things can happen. We can have lean misfires because we got a vacuum leak. We can have an injector that's bad. That's a possibility. We can have a spark plug that's failed. That's a possibility. But as technicians, when we come to the car and we look at it, we're going to diagnose it. Okay? In the diagnostic, we plug into it first of all, and that's going to tell us some basic information. Sometimes there's no code there for what we're experiencing. There's no piece of information or thumbprint to go looking after the culprit. Okay, so we plug into it, and we're going to say, oh, hey, we got a misfire code. Well, that's a P0300 code, which is kind of a random misfire, so that's not attached to any one cylinder. This Cadillac may be a V6. Sometimes when it's very errant and the computer can specifically spot it based off of its engine balance, it may be a P0306, which is a cylinder number 6 misfire. So now, hey, we know we got a problem over there. That's a great misfire code because I know where to go looking. But I've seen cam lobes wear off and cause misfire issues because we got lack of oil change. Well, that's not going to be a simple spark plug change. That's going to be a major engine repair. So that question is very open-ended and impossible to answer. It needs to be diagnosed, but at least you can kind of know the steps and what the technician is going to go through to find that. And that's one of those things where you can go throw an injector in it. You can go throw some spark plugs in it, but sometimes you're going to spend more money going that way. Now, there is cases, and maybe you found this, Frank, where the diagnosis is worse than the cure. You've seen that happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What I tell my folks coming in respectfully, because, automotive service, it at times can be a nightmarish event as far as cost. We all get that, and we all want to be everybody's hero and keep the cost down. I tell my folks, I want to protect your wallet and my reputation. There's a small fee behind getting it right in pinpoint testing. That is key. Or else we're throwing parts at it, and that's not the way to go.
Now, we all, some of us graduated at the top of our class, and some of us graduated at the bottom of our class, but we're all still technicians, right?
That's it.
That's one of the things that I preach to people is that you want to deal with an honest shop. That's great. Honest, definitely. I would certainly hope you're honest. But number 2 is you got to be competent, because you may get a wrong repair because the guy was incompetent, not dishonest, but you're ripped off incompetently, not ripped off fraudulently. So you want to make sure you're working with a good, competent shop, someone who's been around for a little while and is going to take care of you. And hey, sometimes we diagnose things and we were wrong. But it's what we do when we're wrong to unwind the clock and make it right and make sure everybody walks away with a happy smile on their face. So.
It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Since Matt's not here, he hates that thing. I thought I would bust it out in his absence. Fact or fiction, Frank? I hope you know something about this because I don't, but I still have a fact or fiction. Fact or fiction? My car is susceptible to hacking. Is my car susceptible to hacking? Fact or fiction? Or, that wasn't a statement. My car is susceptible to hacking. What do you think? Fact, fiction?
Hacking. Gosh, that's a terrible phrase these days, hacking. It's scary, isn't it, as it relates to our vehicle. I think I'm going to go on the side of fact.
You say fact. It is possible.
Fact.
I mean, GoDaddy can get hacked. Why can't my Honda get hacked?
Look, my calculator just got hacked, okay?
I would agree with you. It's possible, but most of us, our cars are not plugged into the internet, so there's no connection between me and Mr. Hacker and his boxers late at night trying to figure out how to get into my car. But the things I would see happening is them hacking the software people. So Honda actually has software to run your car, right? And when you take your car into the dealer or you take your car into Virginia Auto or Desert Car Care, we plug your car into the internet. So we can throw some scummy software into your car. That's a possibility. I don't think yet it's going to cause any issues. I think it's still down the road. Frank, you're smiling. Maybe it is.
Scummy and hacking. It just doesn't do well for a Saturday morning.
When we come back, we've got Steve, and Diane, and a couple more texts. You're listening to Dave. This is Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Are you looking for a refreshing change in customer service? I'm Lee Weatherby from Accurate Automotive. How about a refreshing change in your car repair relationship with honest, clear, and responsive service that looks out for your needs and not ours? For over 20 years, we've been delivering award-winning service provided by ASE-certified technicians with one goal, looking out for your best interest. If it needs fixing, we'll tell you. If it doesn't, you'll know that too. I guarantee that you will not get that business-as-usual treatment at Accurate Automotive. Foreign and domestic, cars, trucks, and even fleet service, Accurate Accurate can handle your job. I invite you to come in and experience a refreshing difference in car repair and maintenance. Stop by for a free courtesy inspection, a $49 value. We feel it is well worth our investment in you because we know that good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. I'm Lee Weatherby, and I'll be there to greet you. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robeson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
It's really coming down now, and that little voice is saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. You meant to call Kaiko Roofing last storm, but you didn't, did you? Now it's raining cats and dogs, and Mr. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is watching a puddle form on the ceiling. If the roof on your home or business is over 10 years old, get rid of shoulda, coulda, woulda. Call Kaiko Roofing at 602-944-4600 for a free checkup today. At Kaiko, we install peace of mind with the finest materials and the most skilled workers, all backed by the owner's pride guarantee. Flat, foam, tile, or shingle, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of valley roofs. Over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend. For more information and financing options, go to KaikoRoofing.com. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. My sidekick Matt Allen is off for the day, so I've got Frank Leutz with Desert Car Care, which is at Dobson in Chandler. Which corner? Is that the southeast?
It's in the southeast corner, just south of that little intersection.
That little intersection. And
he's been
doing auto repair up there for 10 years, but Frank's been in the auto repair business a long time. Not only does he play this trombone thing over here, he's done a lot of different things, but auto repair for how many years?
Since 1990.
Does your wife get involved in the auto repair business?
You know, she brings us cases of high-sodium noodles periodically. Actually, my wife is very active in the culture of our business, and I couldn't do it without her, quite frankly.
Right.
I'm very grateful.
She's a neat gal. Our wives keep us on the straight and
Absolutely.
narrow. Boy, I would be lost if I didn't have my wife.
Oh, yeah. Lost puppy.
So this week it was so hot in the shop, I got back, and I work in the office, which really isn't fair because I don't have to suffer. But I bought a huge cooler and just went down and bought a ton of Gatorade for my guys just to keep them going. I'm out there rubbing their shoulders, get back in there, Rocky.
Absolutely.
You can do it. So up first this segment, we're going to go with Steve, and he has got a car buying question. It looks like Altima, Accord, Camry. So that's a question that we're going to be put on the spot on. Steve, what year of Altima, Accord, or Camry are you looking for?
Probably around 2010.
2010. Well, Altima, Accord, or Camry, Frank, 2010. Too soon for you to know?
I'll tell you what I recommend, rent one of these vehicles. It may not be a 2010, okay? And then the second thing is, understand and identify what it is I want this vehicle to do for me over the next 5 to 7 years that I have it. This is key. Otherwise, you're running in a league of very reputable, mechanically sound. These vehicles are top notch.
Right. This isn't like the old days where you're gonna get a lemon. I think the likelihood of getting a lemon nowadays is worse. But we find like in the late 90s, Honda said, "Hey, we're gonna build these Civic XHs, and we're going to put CVT transmissions in them." They were a bomb. I was not a fan. They were junk. You could hardly resell them. So I think people are worried about that. So I'm a little scared of new technology sometimes when I'm going out to buy a new car. But Toyota's a great car. Nissan's a great car. I'm kind of a Honda Toyota guy. That's my personal preference. But there's a blog you can find at KTAR.com. If you go to the show's link, and then go to Bumper Radio. I wrote a blog on which car you should be buying, which one's best for you. So I would encourage you, Steve, to go check that out. We are going to go with John in Tempe, and I have no idea what John wants, but we're going to find out. What can we do for you today, John? John, are you there? All right, maybe we'll try John over here. John, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I've got a 2005 Dodge Sprinter van, and I had the water pump went out, and we had it replaced. But when they replaced it, they ended up cracking the where one of the inlets into the radiator. so we had to have the radiator replaced. And I drive it back and forth from Tempe to Casa Grande, and when I'm going down the freeway with the AC on, it's operating about between 180 and 215, but as soon as I get it up above about 70, it goes all the way up and starts overheating. But then if I turn the AC off, it goes back down just below 215. And I'm trying to figure out why it would be doing that.
You got any questions for John there, Frank?
So this is essentially, as you're cruising 65, 70 miles plus with the AC on, we've established that it is running about 3/4 on the temp gauge, John?
Yeah, well, if I leave the AC on, it'll go all the way up into the red over 250.
Through the roof. Well, a couple things come to mind for me is I know we just did some repairs up there in the radiator. I've seen cars that get hot and overheat on the freeway, but they're fine driving around town, and some sort of air shield got left off in the process. And there's air dams in cars, and the one I was thinking of, a little Dodge Stratus that we had, where the little dam underneath the bumper cover was missing and it got left off. That was enough to cause a little vacuum right there in front of the radiator, so this car would not cool. So because we were there and we just did the repair, I would be looking up there. You should be able to run the AC all the time. When you turn the AC off, it obviously takes load and heat off of the engine, so I can see it cooling down because the AC is off. But I think something's not that. Either that or the cooling capacity is not full blown. Maybe we've got an air pocket in the system, something else going on. So I would take it back to the repair shop. I noticed he said when he was in there, he had a water pump replaced, but the neck on the radiator broke off. Frank, how common is that when you've got a car that's 10 years old and you got to yank a radiator hose off of a radiator for that neck to snap?
You get these plastic radiator tanks, they're hard and brittle. Our technicians are very cautious. If we see something that we can forewarn, if we've got a 100,000 mile plus radiator, we're going to forewarn folks ahead of time. But it's unfortunate, but it can break.
Well, and that was one of our big expenses that you want to avoid. We talked about things you don't want to ignore. I absolutely, and this is something you got to be careful with on this Dodge van. Sometimes when these cars overheat because there's an air pocket in the system, if that air pocket in the system happens to be right next to that temperature sending unit, it's not going to tell you it's running hot. So you could be doing damage to the engine and not even know it because the gauge is, it's there, it's nice and happy, and I don't need to worry about it, but it could really be overheating. So when it comes to radiators, my recommendation on this has changed 100%. In the old days, we used to rod and repair a radiator. Okay, that was when, the tanks were made of metal. And everything was, soldered together, brazed, whatever they do down there at the radiator shop. I don't know how to do it.
The guy wore a lead detector, like a nuclear device on his chest to make sure.
Right. So we fixed radiators. In the modern era, they've got plastic tanks on them, and they also, with manufacturing costs coming down, and these things, most of them are built overseas, whether we like it or not, they're a dime a dozen. Okay? So the price of them has come down. These cars, they put up with a little less, as far as getting run hot. I see head gaskets blow. Man, the thing was only hot for just a few minutes. Really? It's going to cost me $2,000 to fix my car. So I would say you can get a radiator put in your car for probably somewhere in the range of $300 to $600, okay? And if we're not talking about an F450, that's probably a little more expensive. But most of your cars, you're in and you're getting a water pump anyway. You need to be thinking about replacing that radiator if it's original. This car, this was a 2005 or 2006. That means we've got a radiator that's been in there for 6-7 years. Now's a good time to replace it. Why pay twice for it? So there's all kinds of things, topics that we talk about. You can send us emails at bumpertobumperradio.com. And if you are facing a repair or somebody has suggested a repair to you, and maybe they just said, hey, when you're in here next time you want to do this or that, maybe you're a little confused. Maybe you don't know if you need it. You kind of feel like the guy's overzealous. And, man, every time I go in there, they're asking me to spend money. Is it for real? You know what? We're a third-party resource. I don't care if you buy it or you don't. I'm just going to tell you, what's a good idea. And especially on that timing belt recommendation, because I see that one over-recommended all the time. I see a Honda the book says 110,000 miles. You're down there at the dealer, and they go, it's 60,000 miles. And so why are they saying that? Was a little asterisk down there below. All these topics, bumpertobumperradio.com. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Frank, for coming in. You can find him at Desert Car Care on Dobson.
After 14 years in the States, mostly spent here in the Valley, I was getting bloody frustrated with the treatment I was receiving from dealerships on the maintenance and repairs of my vehicles. I finally reached out to a friend who told me I was crazy not to try Virginia Auto Service. Being a mom with a busy schedule, children and work, I took my friend's advice and gave Virginia a try. What a refreshing difference. From the first step through their doors, their staff was accommodating and understanding. Robert explained in plain English what I needed to have done, but also why. They went out of their way to make sure that the experience was convenient, with door-to-door shuttle service by a lovely man named Bergie. Several years and a number of visits later, the experience is always the same. They tell me what is necessary right now and what is not. This is Victoria, and I don't know much about cars, but I do know that from boot to bonnet, Virginia Auto Service knows how to take care of their customers. Check them out online at virginiaautoservice.com.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Long name, right? But we have a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved. ADS is a family-owned and operated state-of-the-art repair facility that has an expert staff that for the second straight year has earned the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard. Find us at automotiveddiagnosticspecialties.com.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave.
We're the car guys from the Bumper to Bumper radio show, heard right here on News Talk 92.3 KTAR every Saturday from 11 to noon.
Bumper to Bumper Radio, it's just like your favorite warm and comfy blanket for all your automotive needs.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Dave. And we're here not just on Saturdays, but 24/7 at bumpertobumperradio.com for all the very best repair and service shops in Phoenix.
Yep, right advice, products, and partners are all at bumpertobumperradio.com.